Hello and welcome back to the Cornhusker Cooldown. My name is Patrick Patio, and I have Joe Mojojoe with me, and Synner, Matthew, Carl, Coach
Hello.
Synner. Yeah, we're
Good
here.
to be here again.
Yeah, we're here for a retrospective to kind of wind down from everything. So, how was your guys' Thanksgiving break? Was it pretty good?
It was fine.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. Saw
Cool.
some family.
Awesome. Let's go. Well, with this video, there's going to be a sign-up form for tryouts coming out. So look in the Discord for that. Going to be really important that we get right on top of it.
Even if you played this semester, you have to do it again.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to post that in the actual announcement as well. So.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get right into it with varsity, our first team that we want to kind of cover. We're going to go team by team. We're also going to do awards at the end. But varsity had a pretty great season, I would say. How did you guys feel about it, just like in general?
Yeah, pretty good. We won CCL, and that's what we set out to do. So.
Yeah, no complaints from me. We did very well.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up in CCL. We were 9-0 in total, 19-4 in game score. How would you guys feel like about that regular season? It felt pretty smooth.
Pretty dominant. Never felt like we were truly at risk of losing a series. So.
I feel like the entirety of regular season was pretty just straightforward for the most part. I do think that CCL was significantly easier than last year. Just NDSU and DSU, a lot of their good players graduated. So they had very big shoes to fill, and thankfully we retained the same varsity roster this year, and they just steamrolled it. So very happy to them.
Awesome. Well, we also played in CLOL, which is a different league. We went 2-3 in that. Maybe a different thing that varsity hasn't done in a while. How is that experience for you guys?
I think it was okay. I think the actual games are fun, but obviously, like we talked about it when it was happening, the scheduling was very poor. We played essentially all 5 matches within a week, so it was rough. Fun games, a lot closer, I'd say, than our CCL games. So yeah.
I feel like it was all right for the most part. We knew that it was going to be significantly harder than what the CCL was offering, and it's just, I'm not a big fan of how CLO did like their formatting in terms of their teams, because they took the current season's rankings, not the previous season rankings, so you got a lot of different players in a lot of different ways. But that's right? They did season current.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people were just lower elo than they should have been. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So at the end of the day, I think we did fine. We definitely showed that we could have won some games, but I think it was very good practice for what our current league, CCL.
Yeah. And I think, we played 5 games, and I think 4 of them we had a good chance of winning. So we could have easily won. I think we could have won 4-1. So.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Come on. That's awesome. So let's kind of go through the roster a little bit, mainly just talking about MVP. We're going to kind of hit MVP for each of these teams. We had a pretty good roster for everyone, and just curious about who you guys think you guys are putting for your MVP.
I'll go first. I'll say it's Beware of Space, Mr. Jerry. Big voice in game, plays a lot of. He's essentially all of our engage, the Nocturne, the Jarvan, the Skarner. Very reliable. Very rarely had a poor game, and yeah, I mean, we'd be a lot worse without him. So.
You mean MVP throughout the entire season, or?
Yeah. Who is your most valuable player?
Ooh, most valuable player. Oh boy. You have your answer first?
I would say it is for me. It's Arkin. I think Alex held it down. He was pretty consistent. And we got a lot of wins just because of how dominant mid lane went a lot of the time. And I think because of his improvement, we were able to stack up a lot with our mid jungle. I think it pairs with how consistent Beware of Space has been. But I mean, he had a really good season.
I mean, yeah. If you don't have your answer, I'm gonna throw a hat in the bag. If it's only regular season, I'll put myself, actually.
Oh, yeah. No, that's for sure.
Yeah. I think I had like a 20-something KDA during the regular season, so pretty insane. Though I think everyone has hat in the bag. Everyone is at worst like the second best in their role in the league. So
Yeah, it's just a tough answer. There's just so many good answers because Joe was so dominant in the regular season. Like practically every game he had like less than 3 deaths, if any at all. So he did perform very well. Arkin, of course, very consistent carrying the mid lane. I don't think there was a single lane in CCL that he lost. And then Jerry was very consistent in that regard. So, but if I were to give the award to one person, I would say I would give it to my fellow mid laner Arkin.
Come on. Well, good job, Alex. You get the MVP for varsity. So then let's go to a couple of other questions. What was the biggest win? What was the best thing that happened for the team? The best moment, best maybe a specific game, maybe a specific thing that we improved on?
For me, I think it would just be first week of CCO because we've had a very bad record against DSU for quite a while. And so coming into that first week and seeing how they played, not sure about my language here, but yeah, after we played the first week versus DSU and saw that we were so dominant, we were like, we're set. We're really good. We know that we're better than these guys. So going into it, I was really like one of the scary teams. And after when we won in a very dominant 2-0 fashion, it's like, we got this. So after would probably be week 1 for me.
Come on.
I think it's semifinals versus DSU because, I mean, DSU was looking stronger and stronger every week, and then they get to semifinals, and we still pretty much just steamrolled them. It was never really in question, and it really just proves that no one else could take us, I'd say. So,
yeah, that's awesome. What about biggest takeaway? What was something that we did, either that we tried to work on that really improved a lot, or something that maybe you wish that we had done more? What is the thing that you're taking away from this season the most?
So overall, I would say from a coach's perspective, individual improvement is really the way to go. One of the big things was getting our mid-jungle synergy really good. I feel like we did accomplish that to a very good degree. I think Beware Space and Arkin were probably had the 2 best synergy out of everyone else in the league. They were just really on top of punishing mid lane, playing together for early laning phase. So my biggest takeaway would just be really improve on your players' mechanics because that's one of the main things I wanted to work on. Also, if I were to give a team-wide regard, I would say team macro. I feel like we really perfected the way that we wanted to play macro. At the earlier season, we had like a very good front-to-back protect comp, but as we got better over the weeks, we shifted more to like an aggressive style with like the Jarvan, Nocturne, stuff like that. So I'm really proud of just the macro and individual improvement we had.
Well,
yeah, I think the same idea is like the whole team as a whole got really good at that sort of dive engage style, and that's what we played to our strength and we won as. And I think just everyone improved at that, and everyone improved in the macro at that. So that's just my biggest takeaway. So,
come on. So, who are you looking forward to see on varsity next semester? Because this roster is going to shake up quite a bit. We have 3 people graduating. So who are you most excited about, whether that's a returning player or maybe someone that you're looking out for coming in?
I'm most forward to play with Chet. Yeah, I mean, he's a pretty good mid laner. I think he did really well in Risen. And, you know, Alex is just really good, which is one of the reasons why I never felt like you could compete with Alex right away. Hopefully Chet can, you know, carry on for the next year or 2 and really push himself to become the next premier mid laner in CCL, I'd say.
Cool.
Something I like what Joe brought up, like you really underestimate the power of mid lane. You know, when Faker was not being that dominant in mid lane and LCK, you could really feel it. The team could feel it. And when he stepped up for Worlds, Faker did amazingly from the mid lane. So it's very important to really fill in those shoes of mid lane and never have to worry about pretty much one of the most important lanes in the game in terms of champ pools and such. But if there's one player that I was looking forward to on varsity here, I would say, you know, I'm going to say this for words of encouragement. Preston, Kelpo, I want to see you try to make varsity next semester. This guy right here, that's our competition.
To me.
I want to see you, Kelpo, on varsity next semester.
Come on. There you go. Let's get it. Come on. I know for me, I'm just excited to see Isaac again. He
don't
also like improved a ton this
Yeah.
year.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh, what a beast now. So I can't wait to see what more improvement, but also he's just so fun to play with and to hang out with. So always enjoy seeing him. So, which actually, this kind of ties us into this next question. Which player showed the most improvement in terms of gameplay and or leadership this year?
I will just say Isaac. I mean, Isaac, last semester or 2 semesters, he's been a good a fine top laner, but he had a lot of moments in lane and in team fights where he just kind of ints or makes the wrong play, and he would often mess up his macro plays, go to the wrong side lane, mess up his wave, etc. And I mean, he's cleaned up so many of those mistakes now, and he's able to gain massive advantages in lane, which you saw in CCL finals. And I mean, he's now able to essentially carry games when he needs to. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that. What was the question again?
This is most improved player in terms of either gameplay or leadership.
First one who comes up to the top of my head has to be my good guy, Beware Space, Mr. Jerry. Jerry has had a complete transfer in terms of what kind of player he was before, what he has become now. I still remember him at Pika Zerite, and then our old days at Huskers Black. Yeah, those days, and now comparing it to now, it's like Jerry's a completely different player from what he was before. He's a lot more confident. He's a lot smarter about the game. And especially like on the stage matches, it's shown. Like, I don't think there was really many games where he just completely ran it, except for maybe that Jarvan game. But overall, he's been a very consistent, good player, good objective tracking, good ganks. So I'd have to say to my good friend Jerry.
Come on. That's awesome. I think just a small shout out, one thing that has been improving is specifically support Z. Lamprey.
Yes.
I think that he improved a lot in terms of from when he originally joined the team, and he was this massive playmaker to a fault.
he was Halo saying.
Yeah, he would make a lot of mistakes, but this year he was way more rock solid in terms of it would be way more rare for him to just completely throw a game. It usually was not on his shoulders. So that was really cool to see some pretty solid improvement there. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, like all of varsity, like comparing like last semester till now, when I first joined the team last semester for varsity, I believe I joined like halfway through their season. Mm-hmm. So comparing them then and comparing them to now, it's a completely different team. You know, everyone trusts each other more. Everyone has gotten so much better. Isaac gotten a lot more consistent. Alex, we got that guy to talk. So once when he's talking, he turned into a monster. So.
Hello.
Overall, it's like everyone's had such good improvement throughout the time. It's just, you know, I can't be happy with any of it. It's like they did a very solid job. So,
come on. So, what were some of the best moments or the best memories of this year with this team?
Two of my favorites is first off just the Silas Karthus Yaspo Yone Diana team comp.
That was a game.
In Durandus. It was so funny. I think we R5'd the Silas, and it wasn't even planned. He just like said, "Hey, I want a Silas here."
Yeah, Silas here.
And I just picked it from him. And then, in a similar perspective, the Lee Sin support was very fun. So, I think those two was probably the funniest and one of the better memories we're gonna have. So, yeah.
Oh gosh, I think. Just my overall most memorable moment was just seeing the team play for grand finals versus NDSU. They had some bad moments, but overall, it's like watching, especially like the first games, like this is the first time where the team has played together in like a grand finals on stage. So seeing them perform in such a spectacular fashion is like seeing all that, like the macro and team stuff come together and then being able to watch it on the screen in real time. It was just such an amazing feeling. It's like we worked on that. We got that to work out on stage. So as a coach, that is one of the best things you could feel. So,
yeah, I think for me it was also LAN, but for me it was the semifinals because that was the one I was more nervous going into semifinals than I was going into grand finals.
Really?
Well, because I mean DSU was ramping up, so they were a big question mark in my mind, and so seeing us perform at the level that we were, and it just felt incredibly dominant, was very satisfying. Like seeing us really like step up in the way that if we rewind the clock back a full year, not like a semester, but a full year, we meet DSU in semifinals again, and we get rolled 2-0, and in kind of like an unsatisfying kind of way because of roster stuff. So seeing us kind of get that retribution was really cool, because that was also my first CCL event that I went to was a full year ago. So seeing that full circle was awesome.
Were you guys really scared more of DSU?
I was scared more.
Yeah,
I would not say I was like, oh no, like I thought we were gonna win, but I did not think it was gonna be dominant 2-0.
I thought they were gonna put up a very hard challenge.
Oh gosh, now that is a hot take for sure.
Yeah, I felt like if we lose a game to NDSU, we're gonna lose it, and they're gonna sort of just like sit back and hope we lose it.
Right.
Whereas I felt like DSU does actually win the games, and they might have actually put us in a position where we're, struggling.
Because I believe it was the last week of the season, but I saw NDSU versus DSU. I remember watching that back a lot, and that was a very interesting.
Yeah, they were
series,
definitely. That was definitely an interesting series.
But
evidently we overestimated them.
We
so.
did, yeah. Well, doesn't change how satisfying that like retribution felt in that semifinals. So
they left Skarner up.
They did. They did.
They left Skarner up.
They left Skarner up.
We almost ran it back. It would have been so funny if we ran it back.
That would have, yeah. They changed up some bands or something, but
Blue side on 100% win rate, semis and finals.
At least for us.
Yeah,
at least for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that takes us kind of to the end of varsity a little bit. So we kind of want to send off our seniors a little bit who are leaving us. You guys are graduating at semester.
I will start. Jerry, Mr. Boware's face, been here for the past 3.5, 4-ish years. Loved playing with you, man. I'll be playing with you anyway afterwards, and hopefully I'll try to help you try to get on a amateur team somewhere. So, yeah.
Do you have any closing words?
Closing words for my varsity members. You guys are the best. It was really fun coaching you guys from last semester till now. Like you guys have, I still have the first scrim that I have saved that I played with you guys. So comparing you guys from your very first scrim to your guys' very last scrim, such a stark difference. So I couldn't be any more proud of you guys. Like especially as like basically like a year-long investment, with you guys. You guys have definitely turned out to be really some of the best players I've coached. So.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. So okay, so do you have any closing remarks for Jerry?
Oh, for Jerry. Oh, my bad.
We're going through seniors. Going through seniors.
For Jerry, we've been through a lot together, Mr. Jerry. From me being your mid laner, from you always giving my opposing mid laner blue buff at level 3, to now playing with Alex and not giving blue buff level 3. You've been through a lot, just seeing you progress throughout the years as a player. Now seeing you as a very solid player as well. D2, D1, almost Masters, very close to Masters. So I hope you keep it up. I hope you reach Diamond and Supervive. So
shout out Jerry's support right now. It's pretty good.
No, I think Jerry did a phenomenal job this year. I mean, really stepping up into a leadership role that I think he's been wanting to step up into.
Oh yeah.
So.
For sure.
Congrats on finally winning the grand finals with the Nocturne. What retribution for him.
Does he even know how to play that champ?
Does he even know?
Clearly he does. Next senior being Alex Arkin.
Yeah, only knew you for 2 semesters essentially. Unfortunate that you couldn't have been here for the past few years because you were pretty good and you have a really good mindset about improving, open to learning new champions. I think if you had time to work with Seth for all those years, you would have been as good as him, I'd say.
Oh my gosh, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
That would have been good.
But yeah, good job to you. You can play more than Ziggs and Vigar now, so.
Yeah, I remember working with Alex before. I remember at the beginning of the semester, during summer, we tried out Oriana. We figured out pretty fast that Oriana was not it. When I was seeing him play Oriana and in the final game as well, it's just your Orionic Way, your champ pool has expanded massively. Because I remember before, when I asked you about your champ pool, it's like, because before I remembered him as like, oh, this guy plays Nico, he plays Diana. And then sometime after, later on in the summer, I asked him, like, hey, it's like, you want to refine your champ pool? And like Nico, Diana's like, I'm actually not a Diana Nico player. I'm like, what? Like, these are the champs that you played in CCO. So I was very confused about that, but I'm glad we had that conversation because your champ pool expanded massively. You became such a more talkative, better player. If there's someone I see hanging out in BC, Alex is there as well. So overall, I hope you have a good time. I hope you continue competitive as well.
Yeah, I mean, what a rock on the team. What a silent rock on the team. No, I mean, yeah, what a great addition. This team would not be the same without Alex, and it won't be the same. They got some real big shoes to fill for all three of these guys. But
coming from Seth to me.
Were you ever varsity related though?
No.
No.
It was always Seth.
It went to,
No one
straight
was
to
beating
Alex.
Seth. But
Well, actually, Min was there for a little bit.
Yeah, we had some bounce. But yeah, no, it was a great having you. I hope you get to stay and do some coaching. Same with both of the other seniors as well. Do some like role coaching. So definitely hope to continue talking with all of these guys.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, Z Lambre.
The support.
Come
I know
on.
we butt heads sometimes, but I love you, man. I think you're really good. Sometimes you just stylistically, sometimes we don't always get along, and it happens. You're a good player. I think you think about the game a lot. You like watching pro play. You like doing everything about the game. And honestly, yeah, I really respect you. So hope you have a good future.
Come on.
Oh, yeah. It was very nice working with Z too. It's like at the end of the day, like Z, you're a good guy. You have a good heart. You definitely are coming from the right place as well. I wish we had some time to like implement more of like the kind of plays that you like to do, because I know that Z likes to play like a very more like aggressive play style as well. I wish we had the time to implement a lot of those things. I feel like it could work. I feel like it could really mesh well with what Jerry wants to do. Those two could have been a really good pairing together, but I wish we had more time to do that, but at the end of the day, I like the result that we have right now. So I wish you the best of luck, team, and because he's going from what? He's in med school right now? Or something?
No, Masters.
Masters.
Computer Science.
Masters Computer Science? Like, hey, I hope that goes well. I hope your career is all good.
Come on. Yeah. Just want to say a big thank you for filling in whenever we had roster.
That was it. That was a time. Do they know what happened?
No.
I
But
don't need to know.
just thank you. I know that this was something that you kind of checked out and then wasn't really looking for it, and then you came back. It seems like you have enjoyed your time with the varsity team. Going home with a trophy, or we have the trophy. It's right here.
It's right there.
That's the trophy
You can come
that
here
you're
if you want it.
coming here
Or-
to keep here. But yeah, I mean, what a fun player on the team. Add some really fun dynamics. I really hope to see some coaching as well. I am very hopeful for that. Best of luck in everything that you do. It's been great having you here. Which ties us to our next team,
Husker Scarlet.
Husker Scarlet,
Scarlet.
who had a pretty good season. They went 4-3 in record, were 9-8 in total. So, what were your kind of initial thoughts on this team going into it, and how you felt like it went?
Going into the season, I feel like, like at the end of the day, I feel like they just needed more time. Give them like 2 weeks before they compete, or not 2 weeks, give them 2 months before they competed. I feel like they could have been a very formidable team. But as we went in, basically, we're throwing rookies to the Sharks and telling them to swim. I think they did phenomenally for the circumstances that they were given. Having to learn on the spot, coming from essentially these players had no competitive experience. I know Chet had a little bit. He had like a semester beforehand, but all the other players completely new to competitive, and throwing those kinds of players inside of a league with players that have been in those leagues for like years, by the way. So going against veterans as rookies, they did an amazing job. They made quarterfinals as always, so that's very nice as well. I can't ask any more from the team. I wish we performed a little bit better in quarterfinals. That was a time for sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still happy with all that they did, despite everything.
Yeah, I mean, the regular season, they were tied for second in the group, and through sheer tiebreakers, they ended up fourth in the group. So
Yeah,
kind of
unfortunate,
but it is how it is. And then, like you said, would have hoped to see more than getting swept in quarters.
That was a time.
Wanted a bit more of a last hurrah.
A little bit, but I mean, all of these guys are, or none of these guys are graduating at semester at least. So that'll be very fun to see what we have moving forward. So I guess this goes into going through the roster and who you think your MVP is for this team. Who is the most valuable player?
I might have to think. Do any of you guys have an answer? I might have to think about that for a little
I'm going to give
bit.
it to Tony Longbard. I mean, I pinned this team mostly to be on Preston and Chet in the mid lane. I thought they were going to be the main carries, but then I think the way the games played out, Tony played really well. Tony carried a lot of games, multiple double-digit kill games. So, yeah, I was really impressed with him. And I'm just going to give it to him. So,
Come on.
Yeah.
Do you need more time?
Yeah, I need more time.
Okay, well, then I'll probably give it to Preston, Kelpo. I think when this team did well, it was typically because he was allowed to be in a carry position. And if he was, he was able to close out those kinds of games. He was able to really step up, and that was something that we were definitely looking for him to step up into, and I think he really did for a majority of the season. So I'd say if the person that needed to perform on the team the most, because it felt like no matter what, or to give some credit towards Chet, I think no matter what, it felt like Chet was always rock solid.
Oh, yeah.
But if Preston performed, then they'd win. It felt like that was the thing that tipped it over the edge.
yeah, I definitely think Chet was most reliable, even in the
Yeah,
like
I
the
agree.
series that got swept. Chet was 9-0 in one of the games. So
Yeah.
I believe it's a away game, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Chet's probably the most reliable. But I think Tony did really well. So
Yeah.
I wanted to shut him out. So.
All right.
You know,
What are you doing? Are you breaking the tie, or are you making it more complicated?
I'll give it to someone different.
Oh,
No,
okay,
I'm
fine.
going to give my MVP to Ben.
Oh, my goodness.
The reason why is because, so those of you who don't know, Ben is off-rolled. He was originally ADC, switched to support last second. It was like, hey, you want to be on JV, play support? He said yes. He played a lot of games on support, so I feel like the team would be drastically different if Ben wasn't there, because he was solid in lane. He had a lot of good engaged moments as well. Like kind of like Z, he had a lot of aggressive angles, some of them bad, some of them good.
Patio angles.
Some of them, very, very much patio angles.
Yeah.
But I feel like given the burden that he had being an off-road support, especially trying to play at the level that they're currently at, I feel like he did an amazing job. He certainly put in the work, he put in the hours, and he put in the coaching. He asked a lot of questions. He was very, what's the word? He talked a lot about the game. He was very open in terms of that. So in terms of someone who's been auto-rolled to a different, I really like Ben's attitude, so I have to give my MVP to Ben.
Come on.
The team would not be the same without him. We might have not even had it. Actually, we would have had that team, but
We would have had a team, but
It
it
would have
would
been
not have
completely
would not have performed as well.
Yeah.
I think with everyone, I mean, like same with if Blake wasn't here. I mean, this also would have been quite a different roster as well.
oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think definitely everyone had a very important piece, but I think that's a pretty good point. So I guess this takes me to, what do you think was the biggest win? What was your biggest, this did work? Maybe it was a decision-making thing. Maybe it was some kind of improvement. What was the biggest win that you had out of the season?
I think one of the biggest wins for sure was just seeing the macro plays come together. I can't remember what game it was, but I remember it was a stage game around a dragon. I saw Tony get out a massive flank as Aatrox, and we just swept them instantly. There was also, I believe, that same game
yes, that was
on
my favorite
the
play.
Rift Herald, actually, where we played front to back with Ash Braum. Seeing us play front to back with Ivern in such a clean way, just seeing them play the team fight the way that they were supposed to, seeing all that come together is that's beautiful, that's amazing, and we won the game off of it. So really just especially when you have full rookies on the team that don't exactly know like the ins and outs of how macro works, seeing them pull off those team fight maneuvers is definitely an exciting thing for sure. So
Awesome. So I guess the flip side of that, which is what is the biggest, not like the biggest like loss, but like what is the like the biggest takeaway? What is the thing that you're taking away out of the season? Whether it's something that you need to switch up about the team, maybe this was something that that we can do next year to help a squad like this go again.
So if I were to have the same team for next semester, one of the biggest things that I would work on would be just, my biggest takeaway. How do I put this? My biggest takeaway would be, I think I would kind of go with the same answer I had with varsity, would be just individual improvement. So at the end of the day, what separates low elo players from high elo players is practically your hands, you know? Put a grandmaster in these emerald games and he would just sweep just based off of his mechanics alone. So really working on those mechanics and bringing a standard player to a great player just through the way that you play out the laning phase. Because at the end of the day, if you're a pretty smart player with like how you play your champion, you're probably gonna be a pretty good player towards the mid to late game. That's always been my philosophy. So if I can teach these players how to play their champions to the utmost degree, I think that they could be a really scary team because they already have the brain, you know. So if you can get their hands consistent, they're going to be a very, very formidable team. So individual improvement is the way to go.
Come on, that's awesome. And one thing that this team had to face that varsity didn't was fearless draft, or kind of adjusted fearless draft. How did this team? How did it affect this team? How did you guys go into it? Was there anything that was a struggle or something that helped out this team?
I feel like that's fine. Like honestly, at some points I forgot it was even fearless. So during draft, I would like suggest like champion like, oh well, like we can play Nautilus, we can play Aatrox here, and they're like, hey coach, it's fearless. We already picked that champion. I was like, yeah, you're right. So I think it just goes to show though that their champ pools are pretty good. You know, it's definitely something that's workable, something that you can adjust around, and the whole concept of like half fearless, I love it. Because it has a little bit more variety, a bit more strategic planning I have to do for it. So I think Fearless is a great addition to these leagues. Great that Pro is also adapting some form of it as well. But Fearless, I personally love it.
Come on, that's awesome. I know. For me, doing Fearless was very fun.
I bet it was fun for you.
Yeah.
There's CCO might add Fearless in the future.
I hope they do.
I think it's a great, like you said, it adds like just enough variety.
Yeah.
It's not full Fearless where all of a sudden we have nonsense in the draft, but it is more, just more variety.
Yeah.
You get to see more out of players, which is something really cool.
I think it helps a little bit in the lower leagues. Like we talk about Pro League, but they can easily pull out 5 champions in one series. But yeah, in lower elo it's just helping because you can play so much more random stuff and it kind of works. So
Right.
Yeah, it kind of helps to see like how good the player is too. Is like get their 2 tricks off the board and see how they really play the game. You know,
Yeah.
I think all of our players really flourished in that area. You know, all of our players have a very good champ pool. I know Chet's mid pool was probably the most constrictive, but even then we found spots where his champions would work. So at the end of the day, we had a good pool. It was a good concept for us, and I would love to see more Fearless.
Yeah. And then, so which player do you think you would that had like the most improvement in gameplay or leadership?
Gameplay or leadership?
I'll throw mine. Ben, obviously autofilled player, new to support and showed massive improvement. Went from looking like a patio to a real support. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I can play with him next semester. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And he's a real grinder as well, which probably helps him a lot. So.
Oh, okay. So I already gave Ben as my answer. So it's most improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
Improved in terms of gameplay or leadership. So this could be someone who kind of stepped up into a leadership role, or just someone who just by sheer gameplay.
If I were to name out some people, I'd say Tony and Preston for sure. Tony, I did not know much. Like he's new. I didn't know much about him going in. But as the time progressed, he really became a very big vocal person on the team. He put in the work, he put in the hours. He became a much better player individually. He asked a lot more questions about lane. Like his laning phase is still the part where he's the most shaky. So seeing him progress his laning phase throughout the time was very good to see. And in terms of leadership, Preston stepped up the ball. There were times when Preston was, like, I would say Preston is very smart at the game. He's definitely a lot more vocal in terms of, like, what you see from people in that level. So most improvement for Preston for leadership. So
Come on.
very nice.
That's awesome. And what were your favorite moments or memories from the year?
Favorite moments?
If you want, I can go to give you some time to think, because I
think I have my greatest moment.
Oh, you have it?
Okay, I'm not sure if greatest is the right word.
Your favorite.
Oh, my favorite.
Or greatest.
You can have a few. Don't worry.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just going to give my most memorable. So my most
memorable. Okay.
was the last series.
Oh no.
Where we practically lost the game. So there were 3 games, right?
Yep.
We lost all 3 games in the first 4 minutes of the game, bot lane. Same exact thing happened. Like, we either got double killed in the first 4 minutes, or we got triple killed with the jungle gank. All 3 games went the exact same way. So in terms of most memorable, I will never forget that moment. I don't think that our bot lane will ever forget that either, but that was, I mean, as a coach, it's like, it sucks to see that, but it's also just,
It's kind of funny.
I just find it hilarious.
As a more third-party person.
As a third party, yeah.
It was like, hey, Ben's died for the 9th time on Renata in like 20 minutes. It's pretty funny. No flame. It happens.
Yeah, no effect.
Right?
It does happen.
You saw my Lucian. It happened. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty funny. I don't have any specific ones, but I was not part of the team as much.
It's
so.
also just kind of like what people say about like G2 at Worlds. They just had a bad day. They just had a bad day, and unfortunately, it's only one series. There's no double elimination, so that was their only chance. Unfortunate went that way, but like that's not how they normally play. So like it's just a bad day for them. So unfortunate, but that is my most memorable by far.
Yeah, I think mine on a like a happier note is definitely the multiple times where we had like late night food. Specifically one where I had Alibaba's with Preston and Ben after a series.
Pretty good place. Give them a shout out.
True, they have great euros, but just those kind of scenarios where like we're in the basement of the College of Journalism until like 1 a.m. Because we're just want to talk about the game, and we just want to keep talking, and everyone was super motivated. The first time this team came together, that was another really good one. We're just sitting in the lobby you were here for that one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just sitting in the lobby until way too late. Like the meeting ended, and then we had 2 extra hours of just like talking about the future of the club, how do we want to play, all this stuff.
Hey, you can yap forever.
I can, but they were yapping back, true. That was really nice having.
Yeah, I mean, they were very into the game, very collaborative. Had a lot of good talks with them. So
yeah. So that was Husker Scarlet.
Husker Scarlet, but there's one more team.
One more team.
We have the coach over here. Huskers Black.
Huskers Black.
They went 0-6 with a game score of 0-12.
They did.
So my first question.
We did.
First question is, what went wrong?
There were a couple things that went wrong. I think the one thing that we can't discredit is the fact that they were punching above their weight class the entire season. We were asking them to do a lot. We were the last seed in the entirety of all of our league that we were in, and so we should expect it if everything goes the way it's supposed to. Technically, this is the score we should get. That's not how it actually works, but we definitely would have wanted to see more. But so we were definitely punching above the weight class, or like our weight a little bit. But I think there were a couple things, and one of the things was schedule. Our scheduling was really rough. Most of the time we were not playing with our full roster. We only figured it out like the last 2 weeks was whenever we actually played with our full roster, which that just stinks.
Yeah.
When you don't get to like develop that synergy throughout a whole season. like Scarlet did. So those things compounding on top of each other with just a lack of consistency across the board in terms of either how much they're playing, if they're playing the same amount as each other, or champ pools was also kind of restrictive. But I don't think champ pools was actually, that's not the reason why we don't lose a single, or that we don't win a single game. It just doesn't help.
It doesn't help, yeah. But yeah, I mean, going to the other questions you asked, who's like your MVP for this team? Obviously, they weren't, 1v9ing every game because they couldn't win. But
that's fair. No, I think I have two people in mind. First off, the one that I have to give it to, and then I'll give a special shout out. But the one I have to give it to is Long, Egoist, our ADC. What a rock star! If that guy was playing, he was our win. And anytime, so we did win games in scrims. Okay, we weren't completely winless. We were just winless in the games that mattered. So anytime that we ever won any games, it was on the back of Long. He always stepped up over and over and over again. There were lots of times when he would just 1v2 in the bot lane over and over and over again. And he was, Jacob is the lowest ranked out of everyone. He was like the lowest ranked by like 2 tiers in the league itself. And Long just like helped him out throughout the entire season. So definitely my MVP has to go to Long. However, I just want to give a special shout out to Thomas, who this is the second year in a row where he's on a winless team. And I'm sorry, Thomas. We'll fix it next year. But he's stepped up massively. And if he was on Mordekaiser and he was feeling it, he was a way into the game. He was always a super dominant force on the Rift. And so that was special shout out to him. Special shout out.
Yeah, I'd give it to Long as well. Whenever you did have your closest games on stage, it was because Long got fed and was able to drag out the game for as long as possible. I'm going to give a shout out to Noah. I've had a good few amount of talks with him, and he seems really interested in the game, really wants to improve. If you're watching, just play a little bit more, get a few more of just like regular champions in the mid lane, like an Orianna or a Syndra or whatever, and just like nail down what you want to do. So
yeah, and we'll fix the schedule thing. We'll fix the scheduling thing. I think Noah took the biggest hit on that with this team.
And he definitely did. So.
Thomas, the streamer, MVP to you.
Yes.
I loved watching your streams. We had a lot of fun time in the VC watching the stream.
But yeah, what is your biggest takeaway from this team, I guess?
My biggest takeaway is probably, so one thing that I neglected to do that I am going to do, like this is something that I like is biggest takeaway because I'm going to do this from now on, which is in my teams have a very structured way of figuring out what are their goals and expectations, because I don't think I did a good job of establishing, okay, what do we want as a team? Like, what do you want out of competitive League of Legends? Is increasing your champ pool important to you?
Yeah. Is
what you want to do just whatever's best for the team? Do you want to just be better in solo queue, and this is a way to be with that? Is it primarily to play with friends? Because like all of those are valid reasons to be on a team, but you want to actually focus on those, because I think towards the end of the season, I think my goals might have been misaligned with some of the team's goals, and that it's not a positive cycle.
Yeah.
So having that established early so I can facilitate that goal the most, I think is my biggest takeaway. Another one is just to have a heavier focus on individual coaching. That's something that I did not do with this team. I was primarily focused on role coaching for Varsity and Scarlet. And I want to, I have some ideas on like earlier on in the season, having, instead of a scrim day, it's like, this is focus solo queue. We're going to focus on improving stuff. and I'm going to be in a voice chat with like one player where I'm focusing on, I'm doing an individual coaching session for an hour with you, and then another one with that person. And then so you kind of spread that out while allowing them to kind of be together. So having a focus on really focused goals and individual play.
Yeah, I mean, you played in Risen just like Scarlett, and you had to deal with Fearless as well. So, I mean, what's your idea of how Fearless affected the team and affected the way you drafted and how you're going to adapt to it in the future? So
yeah, it definitely made it complicated, for sure, because we had a couple of one tricks, I would say, on this team. We had a very limited and strange champ pools.
Oh yeah.
Which actually, funny enough, made it easier on me because it was always the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was the same archetypes across the board. It just made it difficult in terms of nothing feels good to pick here, but I guess I'm picking this. So it ended up that the drafts ended up being very similar. But I think the team really embraced it in terms of just wanting to. Some of the players like started wanting to switch things up a lot. It took so long to get Jarvan out of Kevin. It took so long. I was like, please, Jarvan, please, Jarvan. He said, no. I said, please. And he said, no. And eventually played it, and we won in Scrim. It did not do the same in our stage game, but it was still a pretty solid pick. And the same happened with Noah, same with Jacob as well. So I think they embraced it really well.
So you talked a little about your coaching already. So what is just like, you had 2 winless seasons back to back. What are just ideas that you're taking away from both seasons and wanting to improve? And then you're becoming the deadlock coach as well. What are you hoping to implement there? So
yeah, I mean the deadlock one is that one's kind of fun because those guys are cracked out of their minds. So I'm very excited with them. But my biggest things are with the 2 winless seasons. Both times we were punching like we shouldn't expect to do that well. Obviously, you expect to do better than winless. But we're the underdogs both times. So I really want to focus on the things that I talked about in terms of establishing better goals and just improving individual stuff more solidly. Another thing is just I want to make sure that my input is what the team's input is. I want to match what they're doing, which means that I want to push what they're doing and then go with them, but I want to make sure that I'm not burning myself out early, and then at the end of the year when we have like a big swing and a push, then I'm already burnt out. So I really want to match the team's energy because I think that'll really help.
Yeah. We can go over it again. What players do you think showed the most improvement in both gameplay and leadership? So we have a bunch of rookies on this team as well. So.
We do. Everyone except Thomas was a rookie, but it's probably either. Okay, so in gameplay, it's Thomas and it's Jacob for ArcuStorm and Worst. So Worst was the Worst goat, my man. He had really big shoes to fill, and as he really took it in stride, and he tried a lot, and he actually had a couple of like really insane engages that were super cool. And he was trying to really focus on the things that we talked about, and it came out in quite a few games. So that was super cool to see from Jacob. And then Thomas, especially earlier on in the season, popped off like he had never before. It was so cool. And it was just really cool to see him step up, and I'm definitely hoping to see more of that. In terms of leadership, though, I think Kevin, a toasted bagel, really stepped up. I know that was something that in some of our scrims with Noah, we're talking about like in-game leader, and both Noah and Kevin have a lot of really good synergy. But with Noah having a rough schedule, it fell on to Kevin to do that. And whenever he was roaming around the map, that's when we would do stuff. And I think he really tried to step up to that position and did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it. I think Kevin was probably one of the more improved players on the team. Started off okay, and then got a lot better, a bit more consistent, better champ pool, etc. I mean, I don't have a ton else to say, so. But, you know, despite the win this season, I'm sure you had some moments that were fun that you're going to keep on the memory, so what are they?
Oh, yeah, I had a couple. The first one was the really So first off, the fact that every single second game was so much better and how consistent that was. Game 2, we were game 2 Andes almost. And it was, how consistent that was really funny. Especially in the last series where we get a quadra-kill level 1. That was so funny. I just loved seeing that. And then another thing that I just, there was a specific Baron play, not the one that we threw, but a different one where Thomas ends up getting a quadra kill. The team popped off together so well. And I think that one also paired up with Jacob having like an insane engage. Like it was like everything that this team wanted to do. And then they just stepped up into it. And it was really cool whenever they did that. That, and also when they started saying bread and butter. That one felt good in my heart. I was like, oh, they're listening.
Bread and butter.
Yeah, bread and butter. You push waves, go to objectives. That's yeah.
I think the thing I'm going to remember the most is just like they never quit.
Mm-hmm.
When you are on a just say a bad team that isn't performing well, it's easy to just sort of check out. But
Yeah,
I don't feel like anyone did. So
no, I think they all really gritted their teeth throughout the entire season and really pushed to the end. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
I have a funniest moment.
Oh, you have a funniest moment. What is your funniest moment?
I think it was the last series or the second to last series. Thomas was streaming. He was playing Ornn.
Oh no.
He never used the Ornn passive once. And seeing that was hilarious. No flame to you.
What do you mean no
Thomas,
flame?
but-
That's only flame. You've just been wanting to get that one out there. You want to?
I mean, I can't remember who it was. It was like 3 people in the call with me. We were just watching the game, seeing how watching our
'cause
boys play.
I think I mentioned it first. Like, I've noticed that he had 1,000 gold or whatever in lane, and just wasn't using it. So it happens.
It'd be
It
like
happens.
He's not he plays carry usually. So
that.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
he's usually our carry player, so that was a more interesting pick in the top lane. But yeah, for sure.
That's my funny moment.
And then I have only one question for Black. It's like, how do you hope you want to rebuild their confidence going into next semester? Because, I mean, I'm sure it's a bit shot after not doing well. So.
Yeah, I have a couple of ideas moving forward, but the main thing is that this year felt a lot different than last semester. Specifically, the ways that it was so like both semesters we had close games, but typically the close games in this semester were like we like misexecute like one very large play, versus last semester it felt. There was only one game where it felt like we misexecute like one very large thing. Every other time was, oh, it feels like we're just outclassed and we're just eventually going to lose. Versus this team, it didn't feel like we were always just completely outclassed. We had avenues into the game and we were pushing those leads, or we were trying to push those leads. So I think if we can double down on that, and then on top of that, having a more focus on individual play, having a really big focus on establishing what are the goals early on, and working on those.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's.
mean, Nebraska and Mora wins a duo made in heaven, I guess, right?
Come on,
Every sport, we do it.
we do.
But, yeah, I think that's everything we're gonna go for each individual team.
Yeah.
We got some awards that we're gonna go through.
Some awards. So the first award we have that we want to give out is the Most Improved Award for the player who most improved across all across all of our teams. Let's just kind of go down the list of who do you think and give your reasoning why.
Isaac. Yeah, last semester versus this semester, it's like Isaac last semester, he plays Ornn every game. And if he can't play Ornn, he plays Aatrox. And then he sort of does the same thing every time where he tries to engage, messes up sometimes, loses lane, but tries not to like into the way. But now, this semester, especially towards the end of it, you could see a lot more comfortable playing other champions, a lot better managing his wave, actually winning lanes, actually pulling off engages, doing right split pushes. I mean, the Game 4 of finals, despite our loss, we were really close to winning that with the Garen split push. And I think that's like the biggest improvement that's very noticeable, right? Now you can easily look last semester and this semester and see why he's so much better now. So, yeah.
I'll have to give mine to Beware Space, Jerry. I think that just the role that he wanted to fill in terms of varsity team, becoming a smarter player, I always think that jungle is brain-wise the hardest role in the game, just because of how many things you have to account for, how many things you have to take into consideration. Remembering all those things, objective timers, lane states, a back timer, like everything is just very complicated from a thinking point of view. And seeing Jerry improve so much, especially since I played with him on Huskers Black, going from like autopilot every game to now thinking about the game and now autopiloting, but in a good way. Seeing that him become such a good player over the years, and seeing him from last semester till now, I was like, he's just such a smarter player. So, most improvement, I'll have to give it to Beware Space.
Come on. I think for me, I got to give it to Ben. I'm looking. Off-roll, obviously. But I think he just improved massively.
Oh, yeah.
In so many different ways, in terms of just the way that he not only played the game, but also how he was looking at the game. I think he started to approach the game in a way better way, and he was establishing a lot of conversations and really focused on that improvement, and I think it showed a lot. Also, he kept messaging me over and over and over again to do sessions, and I did not respond enough, but it was still, I'm like just really focused on improvement, and I think it showed. So
Yeah.
So no disagreements.
Three-way tie on that one. I'm assuming we'll probably have a three-way tie on most of these.
Yeah, hopefully, to be fair.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's fair. So I guess that goes on to our next award, which I believe is the Rookie of the Year award. So who do you have?
My Rookie of the Year is Mr. Preston Kelpo himself. Yeah, I mean, he's everything you want to see in a rookie. Good mechanics, decent brain, talks a lot. He has those dumb mistakes. He dies a lot in lanes. He has those games where he just dies a lot. Mm-hmm. He needs some work on his positioning and some other random stuff. But at the end of the day, you're a rookie. It's fine if you have mistakes. And what we want to see you have when you're a rookie is confidence and just ability that you're going to do well and actually perform at your level that you can sometimes. So, yeah.
Well, we're going Rookie of the Year. I have to give it to my man, Arkin, Alex. It's like
I feel like that's
LCS
cheating.
rules.
No, that's cheating. No,
it's Rookie of the Year. It's been a year. This is his first year as a competitive player.
I'll allow it.
Sure.
I'll allow it.
But as a rookie, he did come in as like a Diamond 4 player. So he did get some Masters. Now he's back at Diamond 4. But other
He's
than
one
that,
of those players, yeah.
but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like I remember him the first couple of scrims that we had, dead silent. He still did
Playing
like a
Vanguard.
decent job. Playing Ziggs, playing Nico. So I still remember working with him on the Nico. Hey, you need to flank on Nico. You need to be using your disguise more. You need to be doing all these things. This is how you become a success on Nico. And then seeing him perform it at the LAN and Grand Finals. Also the Orianna, never getting off that shockwave combo to accidentally doing it.
They did it once, yeah.
They did it once.
They did it once.
So we did do it once. So it has to be Alex.
Watching Jerry into Under Tower when they failed it was very funny because that meant both of them inted under Tier 3 Tower 1s. So.
Well, I know for mine, I'll pick an actual rookie.
It's the year.
And I got to give it to Tony. I think Longbard stepped up so much. I was not expecting him to perform in the way that he did. He was a rock star, and I just loved the way that he was playing in the top lane. I remember that because we were always talking about Chet Preston, and then it felt like out of nowhere. It's like, oh no, but it's clearly Tony. It's clearly Tony. I thought he just performed so well, and just loved seeing him play. Very exciting. So that's who I got to give it to, which I guess brings us to our next award, which is the Him Award, for who is the most Him player.
I think I have one of two answers.
Okay, well you got to pick one.
Yeah, so one of my two is Alex feels like the really obvious one. Performed really well in finals. Always steps up when he feels like he needs to, And when he played against the hardest competition in CCL, that's when he did his best. But I think you could throw in Long Egoist as he's him. If his team did well, it's because he did well.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it to Alex.
Okay.
Four-man not Shockwave, Pop Blossom in Game 3 of finals. So.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I was going to give it to Long. He is him. He was Huskers Black. He was just he was so consistent. And like there was a couple of games where like it's maybe one last play that like we have a lead and it's like, oh, it caused a domino effect. But it was, if we were ever in that position, it was because of Long. Mm-hmm. There was multiple times when the way that he's positioning in lane, like, so he stepped up massively in terms of also being a phenomenal communicator with Jacob, because Jacob, I wouldn't say he's new to the game, but he's like new to competitive and on this level. And Long was like coaching him through every single lane, every single time. But also he was just like 1v2ing in the bot lane half the time. He'd send Jacob away and he would just win he would just get a double kill on Ezreal. And it was awesome. He was so aggressive. He just always played to his limits, and that he was the embodiment of him.
No. So I have two answers.
Oh, you gotta pick
I
one.
will pick one.
Okay.
One of them is Isaac, Mr. Wolf. So,
Mr. Garen.
You know, there's a lot of times when he was just he was giving off a lot of main character vibes, you know, like flashing over a wall as Garen Orianna and then ulting the Orianna. So like there's that. There's times when he would proxy, get caught, and then instantly die. But like it did go for a lot of plays and a lot of disrespectful plays, like TPing under a turret and getting canceled. So he gives off a lot of main character vibes. But I think I have to agree with you. I think it has to be Long too. Long was the backbone of Huskers Black. He did try to carry the games respectively very well. I still remember a time when he eat over a wall and died because there were 4 people waiting for him on the other side.
Don't mention that one. Are you talking about the Ezra one?
Yeah, it's like there's just a lot of moments, but I could see like he's trying to carry the game. He has a lead. He wants it. He wants that win. Couldn't quite get it, but I respect the effort. It's exactly what I would do. Sometimes you just have to play like a psycho. Yeah, I mean, understand. But
there's another E over the wall, except that time he got like a triple kill. It was on Zeri.
Oh yeah.
And it was like he just eat into them and then just killed 3 of them and just completely outplayed them. It was so awesome. And yeah, I think so. We have our first winner of
I would say it has to be Long.
Long wins, I guess.
Yeah, come on, good job, Long. Let's go.
Won something.
So now we have 2 more awards. This next one being the Class Clown Award for who you got for who was the big Class Clown.
So there's 2 answers. One's very obvious, other one's not. I'm gonna go with the very obvious one, and hopefully someone else will get the non-obvious one. But Isaac, obviously, I mean, he's the Wolf. Garen King. He can only play Garen. He can play Garen, God King Garen, a Commando Garen. Every skin of Garen he can play. Yeah. And, you know, hearing him voice comms, you can hear him down the hallway. You can hear him probably throughout his dorm whenever he gets a one-man Ornar or something. There's a Yasuo clip and LOL clips that's him trying to cancel a TP with a flash EQ on Yasuo on a minion, but like he just does it a second too late. Yep. So he just does it or nothing.
It's awesome.
He's funny. He's a great guy to be with. So yeah.
I have to agree. It has to go to Isaac. Just you mentioned that there are a lot of funny clips that Isaac has been in. Like Kasante, the flash TP, iconic.
The banana combo.
Yep. They also
one of our most watched Twitch clips at this point.
Yep. The banana combo as well. There's also the one where he hit a blast play and almost killed Joe.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's one of my favorite. I still have that in my favorite. It's on GIFs. I'll put that in the chat every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, I had another idea, but you're right. I just have to give that. He has the funniest clips known to man.
Yeah, no, I'm going to give it to Isaac as well because it's probably the correct answer. But I want to another person that was Ben.
Yep.
In every single stream, no matter what, he was talking up a storm, and he was always poking fun of literally everyone. Definitely the hype man. And I think if you can imagine a class clown in a classroom where they're just like making fun of a lot of different stuff, that's been every single time that he's embodying this.
Yeah. I'm going to shout out Z. He says a lot of out-of-pocket stuff. So
Yes, that was the other one that I was thinking of. Like, it could also be Z. So, okay. So this last award that we have, the I swear I was going to win that award for whoever embodies. I swear I was going to win that.
Jerry does this all the time. So Jerry just has those moments where he goes in and then he dies, and there's like, oh, wait, they do that much damage? There's something along those lines. And it's like, yeah, he thinks he's going to win some plays, but he doesn't. Plenty of people we know fit this, to be fair.
Oh,
a lot of people.
So I'll throw it at Jerry. Jerry understands. He's the real one. So.
Oh, there are so many answers for this, you know.
Gotta come up with one though.
To come up with one. Oh, well, you have a lot of moments like with Isaac. He makes a bad play. It's like what Isaac says is just like he goes for a fight, he loses it. You just hear him say, "I'm minting," and voice comes like, "Oh, I'm minting." Or we have Alex who ints and he says, "That's unfortunate."
He gets ganked by support again, and then why support here? Why is support here again?
There's a lot of times. Or another one would be Tony, where he would just go fight and randomly die. Oh gosh, who do I give it to? Do you have an answer?
No, you have to give your answer.
Oh, I have to give my answer. Oh goodness. Oh, I swear I was going to win that.
I swear.
I
swear I was gonna win that.
You know what? I'm just gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna give it to Alex, Mr. Arkin.
Yeah. I think I got mine now. It's got to be Noah. It's got to be Noah. There were so many times I was like, oh, what? No. There was a lot of times where it was really close calls, or even better, not close at all. That was when it was even better. I was like, I swear I was gonna do a lot more damage than that. But then you remember that he's playing Pantheon. It's like, oh right.
Oh yeah.
That be how it be. So that's a good one. So we're gonna kind of round up with round out. Yeah, round up. Rounding up.
We can round up your wins from 0 to 0.
Sure. Oh, thanks.
That's wild.
But we're gonna kind of finish this off with what are some players to look out for, as this is the finality of fall 2024, and we'll be moving into spring 2025.
That is how it works.
That is how
time works.
That's how time works. That's how time works in a university environment, and
that is just how time works, though.
Well, true. And what are the players that you're looking for, or what you're either hoping to see them do, hoping to just who are the people that you're looking out for?
All right, I'll give my first answers. Chet, waiting in the wings, finally probably going to be that varsity mid laner, unless some macro or micro god comes along and steals his spot, who wasn't here this semester. I look out for him. He did really well in Risen. I think he's the most consistent player, and I think he has a lot of potential. So,
yeah, he's also expanding his champ pool.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh goodness. I mean, like everyone from my experience on varsity and Scarlet is an obvious answer. Like Isaac put in the work. He's going to continue putting in a lot of work. Joe has been the carry on his team for every single team he's been on. So, and then Scarlet, like everyone on Scarlet is just they're only going up. So, but I think my answer has to be Kevin. I had one session with Kevin when he was pretty new to competitive. So, because Kevin is a very, very carry-centric jungler. So I want to see where Kevin will end up here at the end of the day. Like when I check like the VC at like 2 a.m. or something, I see Kevin, Ben, Noah, and the VC.
Every time.
Hopefully they're playing the game, but
They are.
are they?
They are.
I haven't checked their history, but hopefully they're playing the game. But like, I hope that Kevin puts in the work because I remember him tryouts. He was very vocal. He's carrying games. If he can keep that up, keep that momentum going, I think he can become a great player. So I'm interested to see how Kevin will be because now that Jerry, Beware Space, has graduated, someone has to fill in those shoes. So right now we have Kevin and we have Blake. I want to see who can step it up.
Come on. Yeah, I know for me, it's probably Kelpo, Preston. Very excited to see what he steps up into. Definitely has been, ever since he joined the server, he's been incredibly passionate and very focused and determined. So I'm very curious on where he's going to end up and just how much he's going to be pushing because I think that's going to be very cool to see. But also just everyone on Scarlet, that whole squad of people just keeps elevating. So that'll be really cool.
To be fair, we all want to see everyone do well, and I think we're all looking forward to see how they improve. So
yeah. Oh, and another person, Ben, I'm looking as he's probably the best candidate for support for varsity.
Yep.
So that'll definitely be a name that you'll want to look out for. Look out for. Going into next semester. So that'll be very cool to see.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any other closing thoughts that you have regarding this season as a whole, what we have going forward, what we've had before?
Ooh, okay. Funny thing I just came up with.
Oh, okay.
If you had the first pick of an LCS draft, would you draft Jerry, Alex, or Z?
LCS?
In like who would you draft of the three of your
this
pick?
like
just like overall, like who would I pick first?
Yeah, who would you pick first?
Oh,
building
Lordy.
a new team, you don't know anything else, so
Who would be the first person I would pick in a draft?
I have my answer.
I think I might
Go
have
ahead.
my answer.
Okay, I gotta say Jerry. He has the way that he wants to play the game. He's gotten way more vocal, and he has stepped up in leadership. So I think if you're going to build a team around someone, I think having someone who can talk is very important, and someone who is kind of refined the way they want to play the game.
I would say my answer is Alex. I think out of everyone, Alex is the most flexible because he kind of like mid lane. He can play your own game and he can still like get away with it. Like there are a lot of games when the team would be doing something, Alex would just be 8-0 for some reason, and by the time they entered the fight, he was just carrying. So Alex is a very flexible person. His champ was really good. You can trust him to be consistent mid lane. The thing with Jerry is that Jerry has been very vocal. He is very much a leader on his team. But that's also because of just like he has a very set way of playing. And I've seen him with it too. Is like whenever I see him play in solo queue or when he subs in for other teams, he wants to play the game how he wants to play the game. So if not everyone's on board, he can struggle a bit. So first draft, I would have to go with Alex.
Okay.
I'd pick Jerry. I think if I'm building a team, jungle feels like one of the most important roles that you want to have nailed down, and also one of the roles that defines the play style of the team the most.
Absolutely.
So I think Jerry has a very consistent play style. He can play more than one, I think. I think he just needs a bit more time getting more comfortable with it or whatever. So, yeah, Jerry, you'd be my first pick.
There you go. So I guess that kind of finishes off.
The last episode.
The last episode
of Cornhusker Cooldown.
First season?
Yeah, season 1.
Season 1, episode 13.
Episode 13.
We've done
Not
13
bad.
of these.
We're going to take a few weeks of a break, probably have the first episode for next season either the week before the first week of school or the first week of school will be the first episode. One of those two. You're going to hear it in the announcements. You're going to see it on the YouTube page if you're subscribed.
Yeah, you should subscribe and
Yeah.
follow along. If you are in the Discord and you want to sign up,
This is
not
true.
crazy.
He
It's
was
not
like 30
crazy.
minutes early today.
Wow.
Okay, you know, sometimes we like that. But make sure that if you want to get on the team, we're filling out that sign up form. It'll be in the Discord.
Yeah.
Check for that. Check
It'll be
for
open
announcement.
for a few weeks. Though do it as soon as you can, just so you don't forget.
Yep. I want to get that filled out. Very excited about going into next semester.
Yeah. I'll say for the last thing, if you aren't a student at UNL, looking to become a part of the team, contact me, contact Patrick. We can hook you up. We're hopefully going to do a summer boot camp. You might be a part of that. Cool. And if you're good enough, you might be able to get a scholarship. So
Yeah.
He said it.
yeah.
He said
I
the
said the
scholarship.
thing.
He said the scholarship word.
Yep.
He said the money word.
Coach Patrick is leaving us for deadlock next semester. So
No, it is no. I'm helping out Deadlock. I'm helping them out. But no, it'll be really fun going into next semester. So I hope you guys will join us, and thank you guys for for watching the first season of Cornhusker Cooldown. It's been a blast. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess one last thing before, if you have any comments or suggestions, please put them somewhere.
Put them in the comments.
Put in the comments, DM them. I don't care. Put in League General.
No, put it in the comments so that it boosts the video a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we want to improve.
Yeah.
I think we have a few ideas of what we want to change for next semester. So
yeah, but more ideas are always helpful, and obviously, if you guys are watching, it's kind of important what you guys want. So that is kind of important.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have anything else?
I am all good.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you for season 2. Thank you guys.
Let's go.